Welcome, everybody, to the podcast. Before I forget, we have a gift this week again. In the gift boxes, we have restaurant gift certificates. We have flat screen TVs. We have pedicures. Yes, pedicures, guys. Love getting pedicures with my daughter. If you're listening, Chanel, you know what I'm talking about. It's so much fun. So, guys, pay attention. You might win a pedicure, right? But hey, let's. Shh, It Matters podcast is about to get going. We're going to talk about the news today, but hanging out with me, we have, where's Jackie? Is Jackie around?
Is she under the table?
She's probably,
she's in the other room.
Is she in the other room?
Yeah.
That's our mascot.
Yeah. We love Jackie.
We do.
She's our pet therapy dog.
Therapy dog?
Emotional support.
Emotional, yeah.
I like it.
Exactly.
Yeah. We wouldn't put her on a plane.
No. Not with a
We
snake.
would not put Jackie on a plane.
Not with a peacock.
No, the peacock.
No. Hanging out with me, Harmony.
Hi, everybody.
Lisa.
Hello there.
Martha May.
Hello.
And last but definitely not least, Matt Logan. Craig.
Wow, I can feel the love already.
And I am Matt Logan of Matt Logan Speaks, and we are going to talk about anal swabs today. Yes.
Started off right.
Let's do it. We're also going to talk about Bill Gates, how he says the future pandemics must be taken as seriously as the threat of war. And back to anal swabs to make this really official, because it's really hard to say with a straight face. China plans to switch to anal swab coronavirus testing. Says it's more accurate. Anyway.
It's probably 100% accurate.
We better talk about Bernie's mittens.
We have to talk about Bernie's.
Yeah, let's talk about Bernie's mittens and how the mittens memes have helped raise $1.8 million for charity. We can't leave out hunting.
No.
And we might as well go for big hunting, right? We're also going to talk about Bigfoot hunting, how Oklahoma officially, this has actually gone to the legislature. They officially may have Bigfoot hunting season with a $25,000 prize for catching Bigfoot. Woo! And then we're going to go local. Post Bulletin reports that there is more plagiarism by RPS superintendents, and parents weigh in and former students weigh in on that as well. It's
a mixed bag, Matt.
We gotta. This is good stuff. Let's tackle mittens. Let's do that one, huh? So this is out of AP News, and it starts out with about those woolly mittens that U.S. Senator Bernie Sanders wore to the presidential inauguration, sparking endless quirky memes across social media, which we also participated in, of course. They've helped raise $1.8 million in the last 5 days for charitable organizations in the Sanders home state of Vermont, the independent senator announced on Wednesday. The sum comes from the sale of merchandise with the January 20th image of him sitting in his with his arms and legs crossed, clad in his brown parka and recycled wool mittens. Now, this goes on, but the mittens were made by it looks like a second grade teacher out of recycled wool in the home state of Vermont, and she says in the article as well that she will continue to be a teacher even though this has been a media frenzy and all kinds of orders for her. Good news story, isn't it?
Yes.
I love it.
Smitten for mittens.
Yeah.
Only Bernie could do it.
He'd be the only one to pull it off for sure. Absolutely. Come on, there's got to be more to say than that. Let's go.
Enjoyed.
I mean, I have enjoyed it so much, and I always just get surprised by what catches on, what people just end up, taking viral. It just amazes me. And, way to go for Bernie, and way to go because recognition goes to the woman who made the mittens. It's just a part-time fun job. And one of the things I love about her, she's like, listen, hey, I'm a teacher. I don't have time to make, mittens. Go to Etsy. So I love the fact that she was like, I can't do this for you, but there are so many other people out there that can. So I love that she was, promoting for others out there.
Yeah, that was nice. I wasn't clear on that. It sounded to me in some of the articles I read that she's actually not doing it at all anymore. Is that right?
I don't know if she's not doing it at all. I think, honestly, my personal opinion is I think she's going to find it hard not to do it at all because of the demand. From my understanding, is that she has a pair set aside. This has gone so well for her that she's going to auction them off for her daughter's college education.
Ah, brilliant. I didn't see that one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I thought that was, really good thinking.
Well, after last week's show, you know how I said that I was single and was looking for a man.
Wait.
No,
We
the
gotta put that in there
The
again.
Bernie meme.
I'm
No,
single.
the Bernie meme. I'm talking about the Bernie meme where I said that I prayed for a man and all of a sudden shows up this Bernie meme with me and Bernie. Everybody's taking their own spin on Bernie and all of a sudden I have a Bernie meme like, this is my man. So anyways, that was my input on it.
I've loved it. I mean, owning a photography studio, I know what Photoshop you can do, so I've actually enjoyed it. Some of them are amazingly done.
Right?
I give it so much credit.
Yes.
And the biggest thing overall, the whole picture, for days now, we forgot about some things in life and what's going on, and we're laughing and maybe giggling and opening up your phone and not seeing a political post or not seeing this, but you're seeing Bernie on a boat. You know what I mean? Bernie
at
Bernie at
gurney.
Blato's in
Anything.
Winona.
Bernie on a gurney. That was
Bernie
my
on a-
favorite.
You've heard of Elf on a Shelf. How about Bernie on a gurney?
It's just been
I love the
nice-
creativity.
Yes, a nice break, and it's been great, I think. And the fact that they did some good of it. It wasn't just a stunt or something like
Yeah.
that. Raise money for charity and stuff like that. The stuffed, I don't know if it was stuffed animal or the crocheted Bernie that was raised. I think was it 20,000? It was auctioned off for charity. It's pretty cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
It's been a great distraction
Yes.
from all of the negativity in the last
Look, it's
Yes.
brought us
so
together.
many months. Yeah,
We're talking
It's
about
brought the right and left together.
Yeah.
Literally.
exactly.
Can agree on one thing.
Hey,
Right?
there's a lot I think we could agree on from that perspective, but what bugs me so much is why does everybody have to put us into a category? But that's a
Yeah.
different story.
We always seem we have to label things, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pigeonhole people in their
Yeah.
ideas.
Yeah.
I would like to see that eliminated as well.
Absolutely. See people
Even-
for who they are, not what they believe in.
Yes.
Yeah. Even some of the memes and stuff kind of did that, right? But it just doesn't make sense to me. But that's okay. It was fun. I like it. I'm getting a little sick of it. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, it's been a week now.
Yes, and I always feel like I notice with those things, you get a good 2 weeks at the most. I mean, it seems like I think you guys can all agree, there always seems to be something every month, and it's just a question of how long it's going to go before people are finally sick of it. But you're right, it's lighthearted, it's
Yes.
nice. What a great distraction from the chaos that we're all kind of dealing with on a daily basis.
For sure.
The first batch of t-shirts sold out in 20 minutes. Did you see that?
Crazy.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
20 minutes?
Yeah.
And
then
they just seem like they keep doing it.
I
and it
would
just
wear
keeps
one,
selling
but
out.
I don't know. That's a certain clientele, I guess. That's going to sell
dust
to
yourself
them.
Well,
somehow.
that's
Yeah.
a really good point. It's funny because these mittens, it makes me wonder how many people, because of all this is going on, it's like, I need these mittens. Oftentimes when, people are thinking, I need these mittens too, but of course she's not making additional mittens, so I think they'll be hard to get them. But I just noticed that kind of a thing. When something goes viral, everybody thinks they want it or need it.
Yeah. I didn't know that I needed these so bad.
Right. Yes.
And good luck trying to
Well,
get
it's
used
interesting.
wool sweaters at Goodwill and Salvation Army.
And also his coat was getting recognition. It wasn't just his mittens, and it was like everything.
It was the
being
whole
dissected.
outfit. It was the whole outfit. The mask, the disposable mask, his demeanor, even sitting on a non-padded folding chair at the inauguration. I mean, the whole get out is what's just so funny. I mean, the whole demeanor with all that, not pomp and circumstances as everybody else kind of looked. And then Bernie pulls this whole Salvation Army kind of look off, Goodwill kind of.
Well,
and-
his coat was by Burton Snowboards, and Burton has donated like 50 of those coats for fundraisers.
Did not
really,
know
I
that.
didn't
awesome.
see
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Did not know
Good
that.
coming out of it. And there's the website where you can actually type in your address, and Bernie will be on your steps outside your house. Did you see that?
What?
So there's an actual, I can't think what it is. I can let you
Like a
know, though.
cardboard cutout.
No. So you type in your address, whatever, Rochester, Minnesota, and then they will Photoshop Bernie into that location.
Like on a Google
Yeah,
Maps
like
type.
Google Maps.
my gosh.
So a lot of these that you saw in Rochester, because some of my friends, I'm like, hey, I didn't Photoshop that for you. You know what I mean? I did for some, and it's like, I'm impressed. How'd you get that done? So, yeah. It kind of went crazy, like you said, overboard very
So did you see
quickly.
my comment in on that too? Like, we talked about censorship and different things like that. Does any of that have any kind of play? I mean, just kind of putting a different spin on things and making people think of any kind of picture censorship or picture facial recognition. I mean, just kind of put that out there.
Does that put that in? I guess I'm not sure I understand what you mean.
Well, with using the picture Bernie and people putting their picture with it, and
Oh, the photoshopping and
well, is there any kind of, how we're doing word censorship right now and news censorship?
Oh, sure.
Can it lead into the future of any kind of picture or facial censorship recognition? Because everybody has used this Bernie meme and image and different things like that.
So there's something, Lisa maybe would be able to weigh in on this better than I, but there is something about public domain. And I mean, I know that for a fact with what we're doing right now. Public domain, when you're in a public place and you're photographed or anything like that, what happens is you can't solicit or you can't defame or something, but you can use a photo that's in public domain. We could do a meme of you if your photo was taken somewhere. Now, if we took your photo in private and we tried to do that, that's different than if you're in a public place and you're taking a photo. Lisa's our photographer.
Copyright law.
But you're talking
Like
more like
co-
the tracking of it.
I'm talking more about tracking tracking and censorship of it for in the future of like pictures and photography
Oh,
and
I
things
like
like that.
totally-
don't think that, but that's just like if we photoshopped ourselves somewhere.
I'm
So-
not
so in
talking
other
about
words-
conspiracy theory here either. I'm just thinking of there's
So-
been
so-
some talk about that.
I see. So what you mean is like if let's say Bernie was mad about what happened and he went to Twitter and said, "Hey Twitter, I'm pissed off about this. Take my photos down and censor the
Not
photos."
so much about that. I'm talking about like a social media, like Facebook now censoring photos
Oh,
because we've used
just of a
something.
person.
Yeah, because we've used a consistent photo to try to put out there.
When you Google shoes
With yourself.
and all at once shoes start popping up in your feed posts.
Yeah.
Is something like that going to happen because they saw a Bernie meme on your Facebook post or that type of
Yeah,
thing?
is there something with the
Yeah.
algorithm with that
I
to be able
don't
to censor
believe
pictures?
so because these are more.
Yeah, they can absolutely.
Yeah.
They can censor that completely. So they have. Well, have you ever been? Let me give you an example. Last week when I posted the photo that we took, all of your pictures came up on Facebook.
Right.
All of your names came up on Facebook to tag you in it, right?
'Cause it's
And
got the facial
So it does
recognition.
have facial recognition. Absolutely does. That's why you see the memes that are going around where there's actually like a picture of say Bernie and whatever, like 3 or 4 different pictures, so that you do a word association, right? So there have been photos that have been taken down, censored, so to speak, that ones that are inappropriate in public should probably be taken down. But B is like if there's a photo of, say, Trump or whatever that was on some of them that did get taken down, Trump photos, and then they had words written on there that weren't accurate or true. Those were taken down.
Okay.
But those were taken down according to what I understood is based off of facial recognition for Trump. So they were looking for Trump photos, and then it didn't necessarily pull just the photo of Trump down, but they would look at it and how was it associated.
Okay.
So they can absolutely pull photos
Right.
completely. That was a little deeper than on Bernie mittens.
Oh, right. We went from mittens to that. Oh.
But that's kind of what you mean,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Exactly.
But it's really hard for public domain photos to be censored at all unless they're inappropriate or unless you're actually putting something on there verbiage-wise that's not appropriate. Well, I shouldn't even say that's appropriate. Verbiage that they don't like. So, but it's
Yes.
pretty tough.
But
Pretty
again,
difficult.
look at the positive. Everything was hashtagged in Rochester and all these businesses. You go to Rochester, Minnesota, Hashtag, look at all the businesses that have Bernie sitting on top of them.
Mm-hmm.
Charlie's, you're on the corn. You got to look at the good of this. Our,
Yeah,
our
yeah.
city is
Yeah.
being
For
recognized.
sure.
We can't always look at the negative.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The ear corn.
Since we're going since we kind of ended that story on deep, let's talk about Bill Gates and future pandemics.
I thought you were going to talk about the anal swab.
How-
You said we're deep.
A deep throat.
Martha May is single, she says. I wonder why.
Wow.
Just kidding.
Oh, cute.
This is out of Forbes.
On that note.
Billionaire Bill Gates thinks the world needs a massive global effort to prepare for future pandemics, which include investing billions into scientific development, mass testing, a global pandemic alert system, and a team of infectious disease first responders. In the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation's annual letter, Gates, who is the fourth richest person in the world, called on wealthy nations to invest tens of billions of dollars to collectively prepare for the next pandemic after COVID-19. Gates hopes the world will develop mega diagnostic platforms, quote, by the next pandemic, which will be able to test 20% of the global population per week. Did you guys read this in depth at all?
Let me
little
guess.
bit.
Microsoft is going to do
Yeah.
the backroom work on it.
Yeah.
So I'm going to skip to this, what they call in this section of the story, key background. With his fortune from Microsoft, Gates and his wife Melinda started the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation in '97, focusing on global health. The foundation has since grown into the largest private charitable foundation in the world and emerged as a behind-the-scenes force in the fight against the coronavirus. Skipping down here, Gates has become a central figure in the baseless COVID-19 conspiracy theories, claiming he wants to use vaccines to microchip the world's population. But despite the foundation's public commitment to equity, it has come under scrutiny for urging Oxford University to sell exclusive rights to its vaccine to pharmaceuticals company AstraZeneca instead of donating them, and blah, blah, blah. A lot of different things. Talks about his TED Talk in 2015 where he warned the world about the outbreaks and stuff like that. So, yeah.
I would say, on the positive note that, or from a positive point of view, is he's trying to do better for the world. And I think it's a no-brainer that we as a society need to learn from what's happened, obviously. And there's plenty of room for improvement. But I don't know that somebody had to come out and say that specifically. I think that's just kind of a no-brainer thought. Who takes the lead on that, I guess, is the question. Whether it's the World Health Organization or the CDC or if they create a special nonprofit, hopefully, for it. I don't think anybody should profit off of this.
Right.
If it's for the betterment of the world, but that's not how it's going to happen.
Right.
Everybody's got to make money somehow.
Special interest.
Special interest.
So so here's where I get hung up. It's his idea, his way, right? It doesn't seem like there's a whole lot of room for anybody else's positioning in this and in his foundation. And I think that's a very dangerous thing when you have one billionaire throwing this around and saying it needs to be this way and that way, where it's not voted on, it's not discussed. This is what his team, quote unquote, has come up with and what he's come up with. I'll be completely 100% frank. I'm not a fan of Bill Gates having this kind of influence in. He's not a doctor. He's not. He has
Conflict of interest. I mean, I keep thinking of that. Hasn't anybody thought of that? I mean, well, we all have, but hasn't anybody acted on that? Like the conflict of interest that he has.
Yeah, I'm not sure if anybody's acted on it, but so you keep digging in this story, and he's been highly involved in climate change and things like that. He has the most farmland in the entire country that he's a single owner of. He just bought a $33 million-ish mansion in California on the coast. And so it's like in 2010 also he threw out there that he would donate his fortune to some of these things. Well, his fortune has more than doubled now. His fortune he's worth $133 million as of this month. Billion,
Yep.
sorry. Yeah, way off there. $133 billion as of January, is what he's worth. His net worth at the time he said in 2010 was around 57 billion. Mm-hmm. So it's like, I don't know, man. I'm not a fan of his because he's been under a lot of scrutiny over the years for the different bugs that they implanted in Microsoft, so that we had to pay more to get the bugs fixed. So I struggle with that. I struggle with your optimism on the way this is, Craig. I'll be honest.
And I'm just trying to look on the bright side.
Yeah.
And should he be in charge of it? No, it should be the health world, and it should be professionals from all over the world, not just one country or one company or one family.
Yeah.
There needs to be some
Diversity.
some collaboration.
Yeah.
That's a fancy word.
Input.
Yeah.
And I
Other
agree.
input.
I agree too. I like to see the good in situations. So I think that him bringing this up, it's needed. We definitely need a game plan. We've been dealing with this, and we've had pandemics in the past. We're predicting that we'll continue to have them in the future. So I like the idea that but I as well, Matt, I'm suspicious. He's such a charitable guy, but it just seems like that there's more money to be had there. And so I question that. I question, like you said, I definitely have an issue when somebody has so much money and they sort of want to do this and that. And let's face it, just like you said, Martha, focus on your computers, focus on Microsoft. Now you're going into the medical, and, and you're having bugs and situations with your, there's a trust. I think there's trust, uncertainty there. Yeah.
And the Microsoft thing and the trust, I like how you said that, because he actually still owns enough of Microsoft, right? He supposedly was going to get rid of all of it and focus on this, but he still has shares and making plenty of money off of Microsoft alone. So when someone in 2010, 11 years ago, depending upon what the dates were, but you say that you're going to give away your fortune, and then he's more than doubled his fortune.
And then you buy a $33 million mansion. And I'm sorry, somebody who's super charitable, anybody, I don't care who you are, I'm not even going to call Bill Gates out, but anybody who is so charitable and they want to do this and they've been doing it for years, and then you go and buy a $33 million mansion, I have questions. In
California, though, that doesn't get
it
as
doesn't.
much as you think.
No, and I will say that California, New York, you have certain areas where you're not really surprised by it. But I'm sorry, this is me in my brain, and I'm thinking $1 million sure could feed a lot of people.
Yeah, and the thing,
changed, though. It's been 10 years. Things changed. Maybe it's a totally different outlook. Maybe his life, when we don't know his personal life, we see stuff, but stuff has changed in 10 years from when he said that.
Mm-hmm.
It's changed. It's doubled.
Right. No, I know what I'm saying.
And we don't know exactly. I mean, we
Right.
can. If we dig super deep, we can find out all charitable organizations that they provide to this and that. Sometimes we're very quick to judge, and we're this and that. And I'm sure he's quite giving, but, it's all about leading by example. You can say what you want in this, but it's about leading by example. So if you're going to create this Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, and you're going to do this and you're going to do that, you need to lead by example. And buying a $33 million mansion
on the coast.
on the coast.
Integrity.
I want to. When you're done, I want to.
Yeah, and that's just always been my thing, man. It's like, the average human being cannot go out and get a loan for $33 million for a mansion. And I don't want to take it away. I'm sure he's earned his money. I'm sure he's worked really hard for that. So I don't want to be too judgmental, but I do have questions. And I would imagine some other, individuals do too.
I'm going to guess he paid cash. Just a hunch.
Right?
Under the table.
I'm not sure if that's true.
Under the
because
table.
That's a lot of
look at the
suitcases.
interest that you can write off on
Oh,
$33
yeah, that's
million
true.
Oh, it's total write-off.
But
Yeah.
anyway,
businessman.
what I want to say, you brought up trust, and I kept digging into this. Climate change says, these people in climate change say, Al Gore, when he made it very public, said that literally if things would have gone even a small percentage along the way of like the prediction, England would be underwater right now.
Right.
Bill Gates spends $33 million-ish on the coast of California.
Yes.
When climate change says he'll be underwater before
Thank
his
you.
life expectancy is up.
Does this man know something we don't?
Trust.
Right.
That's, I start to connect all these dots, and I'm lost with, that doesn't make any sense.
Integrity.
Why didn't he buy up in the mountains?
But at the same time, these are the individuals of wealth that will buy a $33 million mansion and leave a year later. Maybe that's slight exaggeration. I don't know. But to them, that's so easy to do so. They have movers, they have this. So I don't know. I mean, I think we see, this climate change affecting our future. We see that the coast, the coastal areas, we definitely have seen that. So I don't know. Maybe he's just like, oh, I'll be fine for a few years. I don't know what's going on in his brain, but it definitely is sending mixed messages.
Yeah.
I'll touch on the real estate part of this just 'cause whatever. For as little as I know about real estate in California, but looking at it from somebody that will never have that kind of money, but for $33 million on the coast, you're not getting what you may think you're getting. Number one, it's on the coast, which is a premium. And somebody with his status and his target on his back, he's going to want acreage, just protection in having people away from him. Security-wise,
yeah.
photographers, media, whatever. So that might get him a couple hundred acres in a modest house on the coast.
Yeah.
That may not be anything like his house in Seattle. That is ridiculous.
Yeah.
But again, for someone in his position in life and the target that's on his back and his children's back, he might need that for his own security. So, just a different point of view on
way of looking at it.
Maybe he has an
that.
escape submarine or something.
I'm thinking an underground
or
tunnel.
spaceship
Water.
or whatever.
Water, yeah.
Water
Space,
tunnel
yeah.
system. Water. Goes to Mexico. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Can't take the wall. He's going to take the spaceship.
He's going to the moon.
He owns the back half of the movie.
Right. I'm assuming, right?
The back half that,
Him and
yeah.
Richard Branson, they're going to go there.
Yeah.
Take a visit.
Anyway.
Yeah, I don't know. I find it really difficult that this guy that has billions of dollars and has absolutely no degree, and I'm not saying he's not intelligent, but he doesn't know anything about this stuff. So, personally,
Right.
you know,
They say that if you spend 10,000 hours doing something, you become an expert. So I'm curious, has he spent 10,000 hours studying this, climate change, the pandemic? I don't know.
Which raises another point, like how can he have this much information on this many things, because you can't spend that kind of time on everything.
Right.
He has enough money to hire people to do it for him.
Oh,
So
that
then he
man
gets a
knows people
briefing.
in high
Yeah,
places.
he gets a briefing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's amazing what money can do.
And he's got a lot of it. So,
The panel. I still like a panel of people, input from others.
It's his panel. He has a panel of people.
Well, yeah, but
But it's his panel.
It's his
That was my
panel.
point.
Yeah, it's his panel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and
I mean, at
gets,
least-
he gets the final say. He gets
Yeah.
Right.
to put out to the public what he wants to go to the public.
Nobody else has brought this up yet, though. I mean, he's the first one to address this, isn't he?
No. Oh,
No,
gosh,
I mean,
no.
in his own panel.
No. There's been other people that have invested a lot in this kind of stuff too over the years. I can't remember off the top of my head.
No, but I mean, with the pandemic stuff, with this, no.
Oh, the government's had different things in place, and I think what happens is they in 2009 with H1N1, the PPE was depleted significantly, And so there was some of those different things that were going on. This was before, we those were that. What I'm saying is that was in place before he started this.
Okay.
What's very interesting though to me, and well, our last pandemic. Let's start there. It was 100 years ago. Now he's talking about we're going to be having these pandemics every 5 years. Is it?
By the way, did anybody get a little fear out of that, of like talking about these future pandemics that are inevitable? And you're like, well, when's the next one? I'm just trying to get over this one.
I know.
And I mean, I see that. I mean, we've seen our past, we've seen our history, we know it happens. So yes, it's good to be prepared, but at the same time, it's all about verbiage, what you say, and how you deliver your message. And I kind of got a little bit of that, and I guess maybe that's what we need sometimes, right? Sometimes we need a little bit of that to be like, hey, listen, this will happen again. Let's get prepared. I love the idea of that. Am I comfortable with Bill Gates being the head of that? I don't know. I don't know if I'm comfortable with that.
Here's my absolute, like, down to the bone type deal with this. Why are we not talking about being strong? Why are we not talking? Why doesn't he spend this money on putting up gyms? Because there's no money in it. Why isn't he spending this money on vitamin D, which we all know helps fight coronavirus? Why is the money not being spent on being strong? Why is it being spent on controlling things
compared to just putting a chip in everybody?
Yeah.
I'm not sure that's real accurate. I mean, I wouldn't put it past him.
Oh,
but,
that's part of the plan. I mean,
we don't know that that's part of the plan.
Okay, well,
send me the
I
article.
don't know if that's
send me
part
the
of the
proof.
plan, but I will say that I believe I remember I have heard in the past with different things that he has sort of talked about that.
He suggested it for sure.
Yeah.
And I'm uncomfortable with it. I'm going to throw that out there. I would definitely not want a microchip in my body.
But to say that's what he's doing,
Right.
like subvertly, I'm not ready to go there.
No.
That's my point.
No.
Has he suggested it? Absolutely. But that's a pretty big leap from suggesting it to actually putting it in.
And I would
vaccines.
imagine who's suggesting it, they're going to be first in line to get the microchip in their own body, right?
You would think.
Right.
Yeah.
Lead by example.
But
Right.
I mean, so you walk down that path, and being strong, there's no money in it. Being scared, there's a ton of money in it.
Right.
Having people, mandatory vaccines, mandatory masks, mandatory fear. There's money in fear.
There's fear, you get sick, you get ill, and there you go. You're going to the doctor, the therapist, and there you go. It's just
Pharmaceutical.
on and on.
Yep.
Pharmaceutical.
Yeah.
My
Prescription
shiny
meds.
acronym. Y'all see my shiny shirt here? Am I on camera? Yep, there we go. Shiny. First word is that I did it is strong. It's about being strong, right? And why are we not doing that? That's where the nuts and bolts of it is for me. Vaccines don't make us strong.
No. I think we need to. I
To
love that
suppress.
because I really do feel like we need to focus more on that. We need to focus on mentally being strong, and from mentally being strong, you can physically be strong. I think we all
Absolutely.
know that when we have a bad day, our anxiety is getting to us, depression. It definitely you feel it physically. You're tired, you're achy, this and that. So I definitely think we all need, and it's something that we all can do ourselves. It's every day waking up, have an attitude of gratitude, starting your day that way, and most definitely don't wait to see what kind of day you're going to have. Define the day you're going to have. You choose, and from that's how you be strong. That's how you continue to be strong. And in my personal perspective is, I don't just do it for myself. I go out into the community. And I pitch this, and I feel it, energy wise, and I just hope that somebody kind of latches on.
I can personally say that I have turned down pretty significant offers to speak and kind of do my thing for other companies, which includes the government. And I've turned that down because they want you to do it a certain way, and they want you to take. They don't want to. I'm not saying that everyone was this way, but in my experience, several of them have been, and they want to take the enabling factor away from you. They don't want to enable you to do anything or be better, but they do want to make it more of a do it this way and do it our way because we know what's best. Well, then who knows what's best? I mean, it gets down to the whole Bill Gates thing. A single
Right.
person knows what's best.
Right.
His controlled people know what's best, and so that's for me too, like, it's a dangerous place to be. We need to teach people. We need to educate people. We need to make them mentally strong first.
Empower
like
them.
you say.
Empower
them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I need to go to the gym.
Rage. But you know what I'm saying? Like, I think that it would be such a different. I would love the guy if he was pitching something like that. I mean, I'm like, this makes sense, Bill.
Right.
Pitch some mental
Right.
health advocacy. Pitch some mental health awareness. Let's help our individuals out there. Yes, that needs to be done as well, but you have so much money. I'm sure it would be helpful in other areas as well.
Yeah, but you go to the gym. What does that cost a month? $10? Some gyms.
Right.
There's no money in gyms.
I always look at it this way. I did a gym membership, and it was very momentarily. Like, all I did was the treadmill. I think it was a lot of, like, I was nervous to go to the other things. And I just found, like, I do so much better outside of a gym, walking, just being in nature, hiking, just being creative in other ways to, not only work my body, but work my mind.
My ultimate point being is that the pitch of making somebody strong, not
Yeah.
necessarily the gym.
Right.
But
Yeah.
everywhere you look on this pandemic, the big business, the big billions, is all on fear and not making you
Scare
strong.
factor.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fear factor.
Fear
Yeah,
factor.
That was a show.
Let's transition into bums.
Or deep.
Oh, yes.
The bum, the bottom.
The bum. The bum.
Gluteus
The
maximus.
Bum.
Let's get this on camera. We need to show people that this is really true. So China plans to switch to anal swab coronavirus testing. Says
boy.
it's more accurate. See, there it is on camera, guys. And this is a true, real story. Not only is it a real story, but let's see what the story has to say about what's going on in China. So China introduced a new method of coronavirus testing for those in quarantine, which the country says is more accurate. China said people who have tested positive continue to test positive for coronavirus through anal swab samples. I can't even do this with a straight face.
sorry.
I'm
I was
trying so hard
not
to.
to laugh.
I am trying so hard to keep a straight face and like this being like a legitimate news story, which it is, but it's quite funny. Anyway, the anal swab samples, while testing negative through a throat sample, is why they're so accurate, according to the state-run media. The Washington Post reported on that as well. Everyone involved will be so embarrassed.
Wow.
One Weibo user said, according to the Washington Post, 80% of respondents to a poll on the social media platform said they could not accept the new testing method. Wow. So Chinese infectious disease experts believe the method could raise the rate of identifying people with coronavirus, according to the outlet. However, Chinese doctors believe the new testing method only makes sense in select groups. It's a good thing they're not going to do it widespread.
I
What
think
you did there.
I think our president and our governor should be the first to sign up for that because then
Bill
then-
Gates, let's
I like it.
let's
Or
ask
Bill Gates.
Bill to go
Top
too.
three.
because then wait, let me get my punchline in there because then they can get their head out of their
Oh,
B-U-T-T.
You've been waiting
you
for
could
that
use the
all week,
Irish
haven't
I've
you?
been waiting for that. I've been waiting for that. You bet. And ever since I picked that topic, I in the last couple of days, like more and more news people have been picking it up and sharing it, and literally like this is not real. The double masking and this whole anal swab. And obviously, as one of my nurse friends said, well, it makes sense because everything comes through the colon. So why would that not show positive or
Right.
not? So case in point, why did we not start with this testing compared to the nose swab and everything like that? Like, why did we not just go straight to the source and start with this anal testing?
I think the ease of access for the nasal swab
Well,
is much more convenient than
COVID
the
testing
anal
to the
swab.
rear.
We
So
we
much
got to
for
put out there
drive-thrus.
in our group text. Of course, we had to shoot each other memes of bums hanging out the window. By the way, everybody.
You know how hard those are to find?
Okay, does anybody remember the movie Johnny Dangerously? Michael Keaton.
I don't remember that movie.
Oh, I haven't seen it since like I was a kid, but the scene I'll always remember is they were like changing in the car and the dude's hind end was hanging out the car window.
And that's kind of how you
like a
imagined
car
it?
chase.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Drive-through.
It's like
A little boop.
pull up
Drive-through.
and you're hanging your tail end out the window and here
But
we go.
it's accurate.
But wait.
I mean, it's
There's more
actually
on this
accurate.
news story. There's more. Of course, considering that collecting anal swabs is not as convenient as throat swabs, at the moment, only key groups, such as those in quarantine, receive both. So it's not widespread.
So do you hang your butt out your front door or your front window?
You're right.
Oh my goodness.
It's not.
Well, that
widespread.
then the question that I have.
Hope they use 2 swabs.
It's like the thermometer, the rectal, and the under the arm thermometer. Which one is
Could you imagine
Don't
getting
mix
that
up
wrong?
the swabs.
Our
That's
producer
all I
right
have.
now is over there running the cameras and audio, just laughing.
I mean, this stuff is just so stupid. I mean, it's just.
This deserves a laugh. I know we're serious. I know, but how can you not smile with this? I cannot help but imagining, like, you cannot do drive-through, so this means private room, right? Is that what that means?
It definitely means that.
I
But
hope so.
right?
but the people in quarantine, in all seriousness, the people in quarantine in China, they've literally been welding their doors shut.
What does that mean? What do you mean? They're
So they
welding.
can't leave their house.
They're,
Oh, got you.
they're welding.
I thought we were.
Yeah, they can't leave their house.
Fearful of anal swabbing.
They're not welding their own doors shut.
I'm like, if China's
Maybe
doing
weld or
it.
putty or I don't know.
There we go. Right?
Yeah.
Like, not me.
To keep them in quarantine,
To
they're
keep
welding
them
their
in
doors
That
quarantine.
makes a
shut.
lot
Yes.
more sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how do they do the swabbing then if they can't get in?
It's so confusing. Yeah, I mean, there's so much that's confusing about it. Like,
I do
many
wonder
punchlines right now.
I wonder if they're trusting the individuals to swab themselves and then put it in a bag.
Yeah.
Like, oftentimes when you have to do a urine sample, this or that, sometimes from home, or a stool sample, they ask you to bag it properly and then you can. I don't know
That's
what the
ex-
procedure
oh
would
wait,
be.
how come the
And
nurse
that's the
always
question
holds it
is-
for me?
I don't know.
You went to the wrong clinic.
I'm like, I don't want to know.
There
Bring
was
that
an
back.
article that said that though, that you could do a home
So
stool
I'm wondering,
sample.
home
because,
swabbing.
like I
Yeah.
said,
Well,
the colon is 100% accurate.
No, it does make sense. I get
Yeah.
it, but let's look at the process though.
1 to 2 inches.
And by the time it reaches your colon,
Sorry.
He got more than the virus.
there's
You got more than you bargained for.
Make sure your testers don't have both hands on your shoulders.
it's too much,
Again.
guys. It's
Did I
too
get
much.
dinner
Rubber
first?
gloves, mask.
Question.
Again,
I'm
I'm
gonna
going
need
to
a shield.
nominate
Okay.
our governor to take the first one in Minnesota.
Right.
I'll second
He's
that.
been testing all of it.
I think we just hit second base. I'm sorry. I could go on and on, but
But I was gonna try to roll with that, but it's too hard.
however, instead of but.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Um,
On
this,
that note,
what's really weird to me is this is an actual thing that's happening.
it is.
I mean, do they not want coronavirus to go away?
People are hesitant about getting tested with the nasal swabs.
So,
Yeah, right?
How many people are going to raise their hand and drop their pants?
well, here's my thing too. Like, so why didn't this come up in the beginning? We
That's
did
what I
nasal and
said.
throat, and all of a sudden now in the middle of this, the midst, they're like anal swabbing's the way to go. So
Yeah.
somebody at some point said, let's swab an anus
spice it up a
and
bit.
see if this gives more accurate results. And it worked, obviously. So, I always, as my brain has more questions, who is the guinea pig? Who did it? And
When does Mayo Clinic start it?
Yeah, exactly.
Are you raising your hand?
No, I'm nominating our governor for it.
Is that like an ice bucket challenge? It'd be anal swabbing challenge? It'd be like, I don't know.
Oh, my
Just saying.
Lord.
Could go viral. I'm just saying.
COVID tested.
No.
At
Before
all
we get any
available
deeper
drive-thrus now.
into this,
Probing.
Yeah, have you written all these down? This
Testing. Yeah.
week? List of puns. Butt
All
puns.
right.
Yeah.
That was good fun.
COVID swabbing puns.
we might need a break.
It's true. I mean, it really is true, though. I mean, they're
cigarette
planning it
out.
and they're doing it. How long before it comes to the U.S.? You know what I mean? That's
Is it going to cost
Well,
more?
Right.
Because it's going to take more time.
Would probably
And then
work.
Well,
there's
and like
privacy
Harmony said
issues.
earlier, it's going to be private room.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
privacy
you know.
issues.
Yeah.
People are going to feel I would imagine people are going to feel a lot more violated than, doing a throat, or a nasal. You're literally asking somebody to take down their pants and bend over. I know that sounds terrible, but, it's true.
But wait, it's 100% accurate.
Well, I think we need to bring in the experts and have the dairy farmers and their milking parlors where people just back in and they go around the milking parlor and just
Assembly line.
assembly
Oh,
line.
man.
Swab,
Wow.
swab, swab.
That's our future.
Farmers have been doing it for a long time. So,
Yeah.
why not?
Used to
That's a
dairy
good
ears.
And then you get a cookie afterwards, just like giving blood.
But don't you think that would be more at home? I think I do the testing more at home
I
than in
would
a clinic.
hope.
I mean, that's what not this particular
Do
one,
you
but there was
wanna-
another article that I read that was like, that's what it was.
Okay, so I have to go here. So if we're going to do these things at home, and I would hope that people would be truthful about it, right?
Yeah.
So is somebody worried that they don't want to be, say, oh, you have COVID or whatever, and then they're like, can you swab for me?
Like a
Can
clean
you-
urine
can-
test
So,
for,
so
for
here's
a drug test.
Yes,
what they've
I need
Selling
to
my
work.
clean poo.
I will give you $50 if you swab for me. I don't know. I'm imagining all scenarios.
It's a true entrepreneur
have-
right there.
I have my vacation booked. Can you please swab your butt for me so I can go on vacation?
and that's exactly that it's
good point.
it's first they shoved it down our throat.
Yeah.
Now they're trying to force it up our vacation plans and ruining it all.
Right.
But the flu went away.
I don't even know what to say about that.
Let's talk about Bigfoot.
On that
Oh,
note.
I feel like there could be something very relatable there, but we won't.
This is gonna have to be paid programming again, I think.
Great.
Oklahoma may soon have an official Bigfoot hunting season and a $25,000 prize for catching it. Catching Bigfoot, Martha May.
Martha May.
Love a good conspiracy theory, the article says. Oklahoma is looking for you. In January, Oklahoma Rep. Justin Humphrey introduced a new bill to the state legislature in an attempt to open up licenses for Bigfoot hunting season. Yes, for real, the article says.
Revenue.
A lot of people don't believe in Bigfoot, but a lot of people do, Humphrey said. He says that tourism is one of the biggest attractions we have in my house district. Establishing an actual hunting season and issuing licenses for people who want to hunt Bigfoot will just draw more people to our already beautiful part of the state. It's good you added that in. What kind of people are they going to be drawing into the beautiful part of the state?
Right?
Hey, they're being creative with revenue.
They-
That's all I
Thank
gotta
you.
say. They're being
Yeah.
creative, capturing some revenue.
But first, how do you define Bigfoot?
Right?
What's the definition?
Wow.
Do you want to go down this road?
Well, seriously, for some people, like I was talking to years ago, I was talking to a guy that was bear hunting, and he starts talking about Bigfoot. And I'm like, what? And this is this stupid big bear that hardly ever walks on four legs. And what they called it up there was Bigfoot. Obviously, as a tongue-in-cheek to the real Bigfoot. But he starts talking about this like it's like normal, and I was super confused. And he's like, well, I'm just pulling your leg. This is actually just a bear that hardly walks around on all fours. It's a huge bear up there. Like, did you catch Bigfoot? Did you shoot Bigfoot this year? So, like, define it.
They nicknamed it.
Right.
Very common.
Good question.
I mean,
I don't know how to define it. I don't know.
how are they going to say that you get $25,000 and somebody brings in this big, huge, massive bear and says, I got Bigfoot?
Right. I know they do a lot of testing. I've watched, I'm not one of those that's like, I believe, but I always leave it open for possibility. So I've watched a lot of stuff on it, and they do some testing, and they try to see if the animal hair or this or that is something else. But I would imagine that my understanding is even if somebody were to catch the Bigfoot and it was to be tested, it's going to be probably inconclusive or this or that. I don't know. This is the way I look at it. I look at it as Martha made it brilliant. Brilliant that somebody was thinking outside of the box. It's Oklahoma. With all due respect to Oklahoma, I don't know many reasons to go to Oklahoma. So somebody was thinking, and they're like, and here's the thing with respect to other individuals out there, some do believe. Some definitely believe.
He said in here too, Humphrey did. He said, like, I don't believe, but he said, I know people that are completely sane people that do believe.
Yeah.
Right? But
completely sane people.
I think it's a win-win situation.
And then there were some comments. I don't think it was on this one, but some comments that I had read about this different article that was similar to this. Is people are saying, well, you want a bunch of crazy people who believe in Bigfoot with guns running around your state and things like that. And so then I started thinking about it, and I don't know if anybody knows this because I didn't look it up, but people who actually buy license to hunt and have like legal guns, the harm that comes of that is almost nothing every year. I mean, the biggest harm is accidents,
right?
Trip and fall or things like that. So how can this be a bad thing in any way is my point.
It's a good point. And also it's noted that it's the $25,000 for trapping. It's not for killing.
Yeah, it's for catching.
So,
good point.
and, I guess you get some bragging rights with that. The way I look at it is, hey, you're getting some revenue for your state. And if somebody were to really catch Bigfoot, well, hello, Oklahoma. You are known for Bigfoot for the rest of, I just love the creativity of it. And what kind of individuals it brings to your state, that remains to be seen. And it still needs to pass yet, from my understanding.
Yeah, it has, and I just read that too. It hasn't passed. It's about a 50-50 shot right now of passing. So I don't think there's this is what would be called a win-win-win to me.
Do it, why not? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
so you
I
get a
think
bunch of people, Second Amendment people, down in your state.
I'm with you as well. It's
yeah,
brilliant.
You're safe.
I mean, it's a good
We're
move.
talking about it.
Yeah, we're talking
for
about
sure.
it. And from my understanding, more people they just want to actually have the permit to frame it and put it on their wall.
Yeah.
So more than actually doing the whole hunting of it. So
yeah,
I thought that was kind of cool.
And maybe Bernie will be hanging out in the woods on his chair with his mittens.
I'm photoshopping it this afternoon next to Bigfoot. Yeah.
Oh, that's going viral.
I totally agree with Harmony. It's like when everybody could get ordained as a minister online. You know what I mean? The kids were doing it. Everybody's doing it just to have the little certificate, to have it online. They're not going to marry anybody. They're not going to do anything with it. Kind of like this. I got a Bigfoot hunting permit, or something.
You're going to apply for one?
No,
You're going to do it?
I mean, I'm a huge hunter, but I don't.
By the way, I thought about
forte.
doing it just
Do
for
it.
fun. I'm like, I wanted to actually call them, inquire how much the permit is, because the article made it sound like people have already called and applied for them and have them. So I'm like, I'm super curious. I want to know how much it would cost, and with that, how much, what their expectations of if it were to pass per year, how many they would sell. I mean, it's just interesting information.
Well, I have good friends down in Oklahoma, so I'm going to put a call into them and ask them.
And that's a
how
great
much
question.
the permit is.
And by the way,
on
why
Bigfoot.
Oklahoma? Is there so many sightings in Oklahoma? That's my question.
brilliant.
I thought the hotbed was like Pacific Northwest
Yeah, that's right. Washington, Oregon.
or
I
the
thought.
Mediterranean. I've seen some pretty hairy people from the Mediterranean.
But what a gift! What a great gift too, for somebody who has everything. Oh, I'm gonna get you Bigfoot.
Oh, how creative! I
Yeah.
love
yeah,
it.
they're elephants.
What do you
they
do?
got
Marketing.
the giraffe. They need Bigfoot.
Well, you oftentimes will get a gift and somebody be like, I named a star after you, or I donated to this charity in your name. Let's do Bigfoot. That's great. You're going to remember that birthday gift.
It's good. It's good stuff. I don't think you can go wrong with it. I really don't. Should we talk about some local news in our local area?
I That one's meaty.
It's sad that we had to exhale for that.
Are we copying it?
Are we what?
Copying it.
Copying what?
Copying what we're going to talk about.
Of course not.
Because that's called plagiarism when
Is
you
that
copy
what
it.
is that what it
Yeah.
is?
See what you
That's my spin on that.
See what you did there.
According to the Post Bulletin, report shows that plagiarism by the RPS superintendents has happened again. Rochester Public Schools Superintendent Michael Munoz. I knew you would know, Craig. That's why I looked. That's why I looked to you. Munoz is accused of plagiarism again. Munoz, did I say that right?
Munoz.
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 Okay.
Munoz.
With all due
Like
respect.
moon, like the
Yeah.
anal swab moon,
Yes.
like we talked about before.
Yes.
Munoz.
Sure.
Okay. Munoz apologized for plagiarizing a letter he sent to staff about the holiday over Thanksgiving break. The school board then suspended Munoz. I got it right. For 5 days without pay. Do we need to keep reading? He was a graduation speech in 2019. I'll just say this part. That he gave at Century High School looked identical to a 2017 graduation speech in Reading Public Schools in Massachusetts. And then also a 2020 graduation speech seemed to also kind of be similar to a Birmingham, Alabama speech.
Well, I think it's good you get background on it so the viewers know. I mean, obviously
Well, we can talk about the
Yeah.
background, but the verbatim, I don't know.
I think we need to hold our leadership accountable. And if we expect the best from our students, or not even the best, if we expect fairness from our students, he needs to lead by example and do the same thing. And I think the petition that has been put together with parents and staff and citizens is up to like 600 people asking for him to step down.
It's 700 and something as of this morning.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, people are upset, and he needs to be held accountable for his actions, in my opinion, laziness. And the school board needs to be held accountable for extending his contract. And their hiring practices, they're kind of 0 for 2 for our last two superintendents. You know, the previous one is sitting in jail down in Georgia.
Wow.
I don't know. There's better people out there for the job. And I think we owe it to our students to have the best leadership available. And I've done some public speaking, not like you have, and I look at other people's speeches for ideas, but you always need to put your own twist on it.
Yeah, I was thinking about that quite a bit too, Craig, and I'm glad you brought that up because I've given in the neighborhood of pushing 500 speeches. A lot of them are very similar to the same ones that I give, but there's, let's say I've probably written, say, 180 separate speeches. Everything that we do, everything that we read forms and frames the way we think. And so we have to read books. We have to do this to form our thinking. We have to have conversations like we're having right now to form our thinking. But that is very different than what he's done here because he's actually taken the speech and verbatim.
Claimed it.
I mean, he did it verbatim.
Without giving credit.
Right.
Yes.
He should
Right.
have added
Yes.
that and said, and this section was taken from, or if he went then, but the way he handled it was not
Yes.
cool.
And for $225,000 or $228,000 a year, spend a little time and make it your own.
If you're in, and so when I first started doing it, it was really hard for me to write a speech. It was extremely hard. I could, right now, if I had to speak on a completely foreign subject, I could probably do it in about a day. I would have to research for about 4 or 5 hours, and then I would write the 20, 30-minute speech the last half of the day. Now, it wouldn't probably be the best speech I ever put together, but you can do it pretty quick. Now, if you're in his situation and you've done graduations and you are around these students and around these people, it should have taken him to do a 20-minute speech, probably 20 minutes to write it.
And he's got how many administrative people that could help him with it?
Yeah.
There's a huge
They give them
cabinet
an
with
outline.
Rochester Public
He
Schools.
could give them an outline, and they could, tie up the loose
And
ends.
how many
when you-
English teachers
So-
and lit teachers are hired by the school district?
When
Yeah.
you're in that capacity, aren't you put in that position to give a speech based on who you are? I mean, that's what I think is so phony, is because now he's using somebody else's speech, but why wouldn't you put your, like you said, your own spin on it? But you're in that capacity as the superintendent, and people are looking up to you in more ways than one. And why are you not using your own words? I mean, something's missing there. Why is he not using his own words or his own spin on it, or
Yeah, it's a deeper
circumstances?
problem, is what
Yeah.
I think I hear you say.
Yeah. And wasn't there a letter too also that he put out?
Yeah, that's
Oh,
what.
yeah.
Yeah,
what I
there's
said
a
at
letter.
first,
Or
the
the
Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving COVID letter.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's what I mean,
And you can use other people's speeches for a framework,
right?
but
Or
in your
inspiration,
own-
Yeah.
or inspiration,
Put in
yeah,
your own words. I mean, it's not rocket surgery.
yeah.
Rocket surgery. I like
And I
that.
know that I find, like, I do a lot of writing, and I definitely am inspired by others as well. But one of my biggest things that I try to do, because, I have my own thoughts and feelings, is I'm inspired by others, but I catch myself almost not reading their stuff or watching their stuff on TED Talks because I don't want it to come across as plagiarism or just using someone else's words. I want it to be my own. And my question for Munoz, if I'm saying it right, pardon me, is this his first? Was this his first? Has he done many others in the past, or?
I don't know what his
Yeah.
is.
As
I
far
was
as speeches,
yeah.
Oh, if you're a superintendent, you're doing a lot of
it quite a
speeches,
bit,
for
right?
sure.
And
Yeah.
he's obviously never has had this before, so.
That
The
we
word that
know
comes
of.
to
Right.
mind is it laziness, or is it, or yeah, because
That's
he
what
got
I'm saying.
caught, right?
Or
So
incompetency.
he
Right.
got caught.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
And we're
what's going
telling our
on there?
kids, write a report, go home, write a report. But if they cut and paste anything off the internet, right away, a teacher's computer work software can tell that was cut and pasted or copied from something. But then, going back to holding him accountable, he's doing the exact same thing. So how do you stand by example for your students with that kind of
Has he
mannerisms and behavior?
apologized? Has he come out? What is his? I mean, I guess I
He
didn't read that.
apologized for the
He did.
Thanksgiving
Okay,
letter,
thank
but
you.
not for the other thing that
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm really surprised it's only at 700. I don't know when the petition started. I think just a couple days ago.
This morning it was at 750 or
Okay.
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
According to official news sources.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I did some research too, and he's not the first. The superintendent in Winona, I think 3 years ago, stepped down because he plagiarized his doctorate.
I think I heard about
thesis.
that. Yeah,
And there
it's a
was
big one.
another superintendent.
Was that Casey something?
West?
Casey West? Is that his name?
I'm not sure.
No.
But then there was another superintendent in Texas that,
I heard of.
and they were thinking he may have been framed, but he stepped down for the same thing, that he plagiarized his doctorate thesis, whatever it is. I haven't done one, so I don't know what it's called. But, these other superintendents are, I think, doing the right thing on stepping down.
Yeah. Hold
I
him
don't
accountable.
know what that would
Yeah.
show for his future if he would be able to get another job as a superintendent, but maybe he shouldn't be a superintendent.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe he should stick to being a principal or a step down from being
Yeah,
a
I think
full-
there's deeper problems there if you're doing that this much.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
not saying that once is acceptable. I am not in any shape or form. But
We all
he
make
did
mistakes.
it. We all
People make
make mistakes. we all do this,
mistakes.
But he did
Yes.
multiple times. You know what I mean? And he's done a lot of great things for our school district. I'm not knocking the man at all, but this isn't right.
And
like
one
you
of
said-
the speeches that he gave, the graduation speech, I literally listened to that part of it on one of the articles, and they pasted what the copy was,
Yeah, I
and
saw
it's
that.
literally verbatim.
Yes.
Wow.
I mean,
saw
it
that.
is literally verbatim.
And it
And
could have been
that-
so easily changed. It could have just like, this guy inspired
20
me.
minutes,
Yeah.
you could change it up and
Or,
make it
you
sound
know
like
what,
your own.
Matt
Yeah.
Logan, I read this in his and I enjoyed it so much. I just want to share that with you.
Right.
I'm
Problem
going to quote
solved.
FDR.
Yeah.
Right,
Exactly.
right.
Sourcing.
Nothing.
It just
Yeah.
makes you
Sourcing.
think. It's just all about he made it his own. He was Paula Abduling it. Make it your own. And all he had to do was just give credit. You know, that's all he had to do. And I'm with you, Lisa, about everybody makes mistakes and it's all about learning from it, but it's also about being held accountable. And it's also how you handle it. You know, that's why I was asking him, like, did he come out? Did he apologize for it? Did he admit he made a mistake? Because we all make mistakes, right? But if he's making multiple and it's continuous, and we all have children, I have children in the school system, Rochester school system. So yeah, I have a little bit of an issue with that, especially when you continuously encourage our children not to plagiarize. Please don't be doing it.
Right.
Right. And I think this is going to be very telling for the school board when they meet next month, because they can't talk about it with open meeting laws. They really have to wait till I think it's like February 2nd meeting. And I think this is a make it or break it for the school board and how they handle this. You know, granted, his 5-day suspension was for something that happened in November, and these other occurrences happened prior to that. But how many chances do you get?
Yeah, I think it sets a precedence for sure.
Right.
Listening to you talk about this, I was just thinking. I love how some of the former students and the parents are standing up and saying, you know, publicly that, hey, this isn't right. They're not giving necessarily a solution that I saw, which I'm not saying I have one either, but students continue to ask me, we want to help, we want to do this, we want to drive awareness and all that kind of stuff. And the thing that I tell each of them, what are you doing in your school? And you know what the answer is? Well, nothing. And the second part of that is they say, well, that's really hard to do with people we know. And if you can't do it with the people you know, I mean, I've spoke at Byron High School, you know, the high school my daughter went to, many times. It's hard, super hard. But if you can't do that, if you can't go and do it in your local circle, then we can't holler and say president should be accountable. We can't holler and say that the governor should be accountable. We have to dig into the trenches and fight locally first. Yep. And I love that these former students are doing that. I love that these parents are doing that, because that's what it takes to make the big change. And I'm not saying that it needs to be a change in my way or Lisa's way or Harmony's way, but that's how you make that change, is you start in your small circle, you start local. And I love that about this article. Nice. I love that about what these former students are doing.
And it goes to show, you know, we haven't talked about it, but I ran for city council this last year, and so many people were so focused on the national race and all of that they just completely, in my opinion, not because I was in it, but I don't think people paid attention to the local politics. And your local politics have more of an influence on your daily life than the national politics do. Whether it's the city council or the school board,
county commissioners,
they're going to affect your everyday. Your president is not going to typically affect your everyday. So I really think that people need to pay attention to those local elections and at least educate yourself before voting day. And we'll find out with the school board.
Absolutely.
And didn't we have a hard time going back? I mean, my kids are all out of school now, but didn't we have a hard time with our school board member anyways? Didn't we go through a lot of voting and interim different things here in the last couple of years before we got him, right? So haven't we had a lot of turmoil with Rochester School Board?
Well, that's what Craig was talking about earlier.
The previous superintendent was
So, I mean,
sketchy at best.
we're not, you know, I mean, we're kind of making a bad name for Rochester right now, Med City, you know, and then we're having problems with the school board. I mean, that's not good.
My opinion is we need to do better for our kids, and we need to hire the best person for the job because of who the person is and not political agendas or affirmative action. I said we need to hire the best people for the job. And it scares me the direction that the world's going because of that.
Right.
Of they're hiring because they fit a profile, not because of their qualifications. That's the nice way to put it.
That is a deep rabbit hole right there. And I have the opportunity to
Good job,
speaking.
Craig. Handled that well.
Yeah.
I have the opportunity to speak with a lot of different people every single week at airports, in Ubers and Lyfts, and I mean hotels and everywhere. And I mean, several years ago, I'm in an elevator in a hotel, and a friend of mine calls me and he says, "Oh, what are you doing?" I said, "I'm just in an elevator. I might lose you." And he says, "Well, how many people are in the elevator?" And I said, "Well, there's 3 other people." And he says, "So you've made 3 other friends, or made 3 new friends?" And so that's kind of the thing. Like, no matter if I'm in an elevator for a few seconds, I'm talking to people. Mm-hmm. So I love to talk to people. And the people that hate that, and hate is a very, very strong word, but the people that really hate that affirmative action thing are the people who immigrate legally, who are of different races. And I talk to them all of the time. In fact, just one yesterday, I was in Tucson, and he's talking about this and his family and his wife and all these things. And they're like, we're so scared that all these things are going to become a lot worse than they are right now. He said segregation has never been, they've been here for many, many years legally. And he said segregation has never been worse than it is in the last couple of years. Mm-hmm. And he starts going down that path, and I don't want to go down that rabbit hole right now, but I just think you gave an opportunity to talk about it a little bit deeper, and they want to work hard to be qualified. These people that are put in these quote unquote minority groups and things like that, and the majority of them, they want to work really hard and they want to earn it. They don't want it given to them. Exactly. Says the white guy with clearly white privilege, right? And, lost his daughter in a car crash, divorce, lost a business in a fire, and I mean, I don't have any privilege, and I've had to work really, really hard. We talked about off camera before. I mean, I'm grinding 16, 17, 18 hours every day, to make it work, and that's what they want to do, and they want to be rewarded for that hard work.
Yep. And they should be.
And then and the reason I say that is to tie this as we close, that he is taking the hard work of other people and he is using it to his advantage. And that is not at all okay.
Nice way to close that circle.
Yeah. It's not okay. Yep. We're going to do a shout out first, though, Martha.
Oh, we're going to do a shout out.
And then we're going to do the gift of the week. Now, we have, like I said earlier, flat screen TVs. We have restaurant gift certificates. We have Starbucks gift certificates to give away. And in the box today, I have no idea. Next week, though, hey, everybody pay attention to this. It's a big gift. We're specifically giving away a gift for Valentine's Day. And that gift is going to include, now listen to me carefully. This gift for Valentine's Day, we are actually giving away the week before so that you have the opportunity to use it on or before Valentine's Day. Mm-hmm. We're going to give you a $75 gift card. But wait, there's more. A second $75 gift card. So a $150 value. So it's a couple's pedicure. And it is a restaurant, a local restaurant of your choice. $75 for the pedicure, $75 for the local restaurant of your choice. So stay tuned next week for that. But this week, we're going to give a shout out, and we're going with Harmony. Harmony, thanks for chilling with us today.
Yeah, thanks for
Where can we
having
find
me
you?
every Friday. I love it.
Wait. Don't open yet.
I'm just getting way excited.
We're doing a shout out.
Oh,
where can we find you?
You can find me on Facebook, Harmony Sage on Facebook.
Lisa, let's go to you. Thanks for chilling today.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
I mean, it's getting chilly in here. Martha May makes me turn the heat down. So that's why we're doing chilling.
It's hot in here. We got our socks on.
Where can we find you, Lisa?
Lisa Lingle. You can find me at my studio, Salt and Pepper Photography. You're on Facebook, Twitter, any social media. I'm out there.
Martha May, to you. Thanks for chilling.
Chilling. Martha May Kashadi on Facebook.
And Craig.
Craig Ugland on Facebook and Instagram.
And if you're on Parler, you can find me on Parler at Matt Logan. Wait, Parler? Parler's gone. Is it coming back? I just had to throw that joke in there. You can find me on almost all the social media sites, Matt Logan Speaks. And the gift of the week is... Woo. Stay tuned. Here's how you're able to win it. Let's find out what it is first.
This is what I do at Christmas. All right, guys. And what we have is the gift of the week is a $50 gift card to Starbucks.
Ooh. $50 to Starbucks this week. And here's how you win it. You need to text in And here's the thing. Each week we're going to come up with a new word to text in so that we know you have not cheated and you have listened to the podcast. And the word this week is you need to text in the word bucks. Get it? Starbucks?
Nice.
Good call.
So buck or bucks, text that to 507-944-7395. Or you can email bucks to hello@mattloganspeaks.com. Once again, text the word bucks to 507-944-7395 for your chance to win. We will draw on February 1st at about 8:30 p.m.
Very nice.
Thanks for chilling today, everybody. We'll see you all next time.
Hey, a lot of people have asked how they can support the work we're doing here at Matt Logan Speaks. Well, you see this hammer that I got in my hand? It's pretty big. All you have to do is hammer the share button. Go ahead and hammer out a comment to us. Go ahead and hammer the like button. Go ahead and hammer the subscription button. Go ahead and hammer the notification bell so that when we have new content up, you're the first to know about it. We really appreciate the comments, shares, likes, because you know what? That's the best way you can support us, because the algorithms on all these fancy computers, that's what they need. We appreciate it.